back. Let's start brewing illumination. So first of all, we're going to talk about the grind. I've grounded this coffee on EK 13.5. If you're using Comandante at home, it's about 32 to 33 clicks. So we're going for fairly coarse grind, and in order to highlight the body out of this coffee, I've decided to dose 20 grams inside. Normally, if I'm dosing a little bit higher, I would do that for wash process coffees, just to get more creaminess, more depth, more body. With some of the natural process coffees, I would drop down the dose in order to highlight the clarity. But because this coffee is very clean, it's very pristine, it has a lot of beautiful flavors, and it's a wash process coffee, I'm dosing 20 grams in to highlight the body. Quick rinse, so the paper filter. The paper filter I like using is Hario paper filter. I also like Cafec paper filters, but I'm sure there's so many other paper filters that you use at home and you enjoy. So feel free to use any paper filter you like. We're dosing 20 grams in, and we're gonna be extracting 300 grams out. Now I'm gonna create a small well right in the middle. I'm gonna pour very fast right in the middle for first 30 grams. And for last 20 grams I'll pour outside, and the reason I do that is to make sure that we can saturate the coffee grinds as fast as possible and as even as possible. This only should take about 5 to 6 seconds, and my flow rate is somewhere between 18 to 22 grams per second. So water temperature 93 degrees for all 5 pours. Now the reason I'm pouring the first 50 grams really fast, because I want water to go at the bottom and to climb up slowly. It's like waterfall. When we have a really strong waterfall, the water will go all the way at the bottom and then slowly rise up. This is exactly what we want to do with this technique. And the reason we do it is because we want to make sure that we can shift the fines. Normally the problem with the fines is that when we extract them for too long and too much, then we get bitterness, and this is what we want to avoid. But also, if we don't extract the larger, denser grinds, we don't necessarily get that flavor. So the reason we can shift these fines is by pouring the fast, the lighter, denser beans will naturally be stuck on the walls and then will rise up. And the larger, denser grinds will stay at the bottom. Pour the third pour at 1 minute and 5 seconds, another 60 grams. The water is going to have a lot of contact time with these larger, denser grinds at the bottom, getting the flavor out, and they will have a smaller amount of time with the fines at the top, making sure that we can extract just enough from these fines to highlight the sweetness and the body, but to make sure we don't get that bitterness. This is the purest expression of this beautiful Irish terroir. I remember first time I've tasted this coffee with Jameson in 2017, we found something unique for this terroir, and it's a sweetness, and it still has that. This coffee has a lot more sweetness than what I would usually taste out of any geisha coffees I have tasted. It has this beautiful lactic creamy mouthfeel that's thankfully to aroma volatile that we found in this coffee, and you'll notice that this lactic creamy mouthfeel really starts to increase as coffee cools from hot to warm to cold. From when it's in a cold stage like now, it's like drinking a cup of milk comparing with a cup of water. It's so beautiful. Flavor-wise, we can expect the beautiful jasmine note, white flowers, a lot of stone fruit characters, as well as the citrus notes like orange, but orange is really sweet. It's almost like orange marmalade. So coffee is very delicious, it's very elegant, it's very gentle, very refined, but as it cools down, it becomes creamy and really sweet on the aftertaste. Enjoy it. When we are brewing a real lot, we're gonna be using the same grind as illumination, same wet paper filter, but we're gonna change from 20 grams, we're gonna brew 18 grams. Because of the processing and extended fermentation in the cherry in the whole tank, we have managed to build quite a bit of body, and we have managed to increase lactic acidity that really will give us that beautiful creamy mouthfeel and the more depth. So there's no need to be pushing that body with a higher dose. We're going to be dropping the dose now because we want you to now start discovering some new flavors that we have encouraged throughout this processing, and we can encourage it with this brewing technique and with the lower dose. So 18 grams in, 270 grams out. First pour 50 grams, second pour 70 grams, and third, fourth and fifth pour we're gonna be pouring 50 grams. For more details, you'll be able to see it in your recipe and your little booklet. Flavors, for real, we're gonna be able to see transitional florals. From jasmine, we're gonna start seeing hint of rose. From the citrus notes and stone fruits, we're gonna start seeing some of the pink lemonades, lovely macerated strawberry, so a little bit more of the red color. And you will notice the texture is a lot more deeper and the coffee is a lot more sweeter than what it was with the previous lot. It is truly beautiful, clean, refined expression of the Aristera. Let's talk about my favorite coffee, Iris Enigma. Now we're gonna be brewing this coffee the same way we have done with the Ariel. 18 grams in, 270 grams out, but we will make two different variations. The first variation is going to be paper filter preparation, and the second variation will be temperature. Now, when we talk about paper filter preparation, we always pre-rinse paper filters because we want to make sure that we take out this papery taste. But with this coffee, I'd love you to try something different. I'd like you to use Hario paper filter or Café paper filter. We've done a lot of testing with these paper filters. We've sent actually these coffees to the lab of university to see how different preparations of Iris Estate are affecting the flavor profile of this coffee. And the results were incredible. We found that by using the dry paper filter, we've managed to increase particular aroma volatile compounds in the coffee so we can taste even more rose. And we can taste even more raspberry candy note. However, when we rinse the paper filter and then we let it dry overnight and we use that dried pre-rinsed paper filter, we managed to increase even more rose florals and more raspberry candy. So if you're patient, rinse your paper filter and brew the coffee following day to enjoy incredible amount of these amazing flavors. Because Enigma is extended fermentation coffee, the whole cherry carbonic maceration, plus it was dried in the whole cherry in the raised beds. So this coffee, it's easier to get some of the heavier compounds that we don't want. So in order to reduce the amount of these heavier compounds that we don't necessarily like in this particular cup, we're gonna do water variation. The first two pours, we're gonna be brewing at 93 degrees in order to bring out these beautiful florals and these beautiful red fruits that we love from this coffee. But to reduce some of the tannins, some of the cacao nibbiness, and some of the unwanted heavy aroma volatiles, we're gonna be dropping down the water temperature for third, fourth, and fifth pour all the way to 88 degrees. The reason Enigma has been my favorite coffee for the last 2 years is not because it has these incredible flavors, but more importantly, the way these flavors are transitioning from hot, warm to cold temperatures. For example, these amazing rose florals, when they're hot, it's like a bouquet of flowers. But as coffee is cooling down, in the aftertaste, you're gonna be able to notice this amazing chocolate-coated Turkish Delight notes. Now, the raspberry candy, it's going to be more dominant in the warmer temperatures and the cold temperatures. And this candy will really start dominating the cooler temperatures, helping us to encourage that beautiful lactic creamy mouthfeel. And when coffee is cold, this is my favorite part. It's like eating a creme brulee with the raspberries and the hint of rose floral flakes on the top. It is an exceptional coffee, and I'm really proud of this collaboration with Jamieson, with Elvin, with Zurich University, and I really hope you enjoy it also.